Do you remember the first Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie?
Lara Croft, like
Lara Croft.
2001, I think.
2001, you
Yeah.
are correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a reboot of a video game adaptation, and the
Which
person
usually is not a good idea to take
well,
a video game.
but you know, it's been a long time. I
Yeah.
mean, the version with Angelina Jolie had two films. One was in 2001, one was 2003, and it was The Cradle of Life. And we'll talk about those a little bit later. But so we're 15 years later with the one that's coming back out. So you know, there's a lot of expectations. Okay, new generation. Let's see what this movie can do. The actress's name last week I said Alicia Vikander, and you know, that's one way of saying it. It's Swedish name.
What's another way of saying
Well,
it?
I watched her interview with Jimmy Kimmel, and here's how she says the Swedish name is to say it: Alicia Vikander. Vikander. And you got to do the Vikander.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to call her Ali V. Ali V is her name. So she stars as Lara Croft in this reboot from the 2001 Angelina Jolie video game.
I sense you're
adaptation.
dumbing it down for
I'm
us.
dumbing it down.
Thank you.
For me. For me. For me. Storyline follows a daughter searching for her father, who's been missing for several years. Kind of sounds like last weekend's A Wrinkle in Time. Remember?
Yeah.
A missing father,
Right.
a daughter kind of going on this mission. This time, this father's very rich. He's adventurous, has always loved hunting treasures, antiquities, and answers to puzzles and mysteries of the past. But the thirst for knowledge that he had kind of devoured his very life. It took him away from his only daughter, leaving her an orphan. After most of the world has declared her father dead, Laura chooses to leave that life of the rich and famous behind. She says, nope, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I want to make my own way in this world. That is until this inciting incident kind of leads her back into the path of searching for her father and using some of those resources that were still at her disposal. So she's retracing his final steps to see what happened to him and if he's still alive, and if so, why hasn't she heard from him? That's the storyline. Zombies, Indiana Jones-like puzzles pop up, deadly jungle chases, mysterious islands filled with buried dangers, and a secret tomb holding the key to death are all on display in this origin story. That's the one thing that this movie does that the Angelina Jolie movie did not. This is the origin story. So this shows Lara Croft before she became this adventurous archaeologist. Action, adventure, mystery all come together, and there are times that the movie is full of energy, a lot of fun at times, but overall it really lacks follow-through. It's not consistent for me. Vikander, she is a solid choice. I was really impressed with her. There were some nice action sequences, some great stunt sequences as well, but the script just didn't have the punch. It felt like it was on autopilot for much of the time. Honestly, there was really nothing new here in these kind of puzzle adventure films that I haven't seen sometime before. Films like Indiana Jones, National Treasure, Da Vinci's Code, I think did it even better. When I first wrote my review, I said the original Tomb Raider did it even better, but going back and revisiting it, I think it's probably on par with it. The big difference is this movie isn't wall-to-wall action. There's a lot of backstory setting up things before the action really kind of kicks into high gear. It's not a bad film, but it's not a game changer or a groundbreaking film either. So I'm giving Tomb Raider the reboot a B- rating.
I've heard there's a lot of, a film like that would have a lot of effects in it anyway, but I've heard they're not that great.
No, they're
what
okay.
What were your thoughts?
Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah.
When I went back and revisited the original, tons of effects, and it was action from wall to wall. This one, not really a ton of effects. There were some interesting action sequences that happened throughout the film, but there was nothing, like I said, nothing that blew me away. I didn't think the effects were bad. I just didn't think they were anything spectacular.
That's almost crippling for a movie like that, isn't it?
I think so. This movie, expectations as an audience member going in, you expect action. You really expect action and adventure, I think, from the start. And it took a while for that to do because it was building this backstory. The original, as we'll talk about a little bit later, it didn't really take time to build a backstory. You were able to kind of set it up pretty quickly and kind of know who she was. The video game has been around since the 90s, I guess.
Probably.
And you know, it had a built-in audience, and that's why the original was so successful, is you had that original audience. I think any adventure type film like this is going to draw people to it. People are going to want to see it, especially if you're wanting something that will help you escape.
Right.
And it's not bad. I'm glad I went to see it, but it's not one that I think I'm going to own in my DVD collection or my Blu-ray collection.
Right.
So,
right.
But she was solid. It did set the movie up for a sequel. So the very end of it, it kind of sets that up. And so you know that, okay, if the movie's successful, we'll see another one. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. It was number 2 at the box office last weekend. It didn't quite measure up to the Black Panther, which was number 1. And number 3 was I Can Only Imagine. So interesting top 3 for the box office last weekend.